Welcome back everyone, my name is Echo. I hope you're having a great day. Today's video is a Minecraft tips and tricks video, or 10 things you did not know about Minecraft since the update Aquatic. Now apart from this update being absolutely fantastic, a lot of things have changed down to the water mechanics, down to what's in the ocean, how mobs react in water, and so much more. So I created this world to try and teach you a couple of things that I know about this update that you possibly might not. Now if you do enjoy this video and you even learn one new thing, please take the time to hit that like button because I appreciate all your support. So let's start off with the very basics. I'm doing this as if you've just created a brand new world. So we're going to start off with the things that are really beneficial when you create a brand new world. So this is a survival island. And before Minecraft 1.13, in survival islands, if you didn't have animals like sheep like this, you'd spend a lot of time trying to find seeds. Now obviously you'd then take the time to plant down the seeds to try and get wheat and have some food. If you didn't, you'd spend some time waiting for nighttime so you could get yourself a spider to then create a fishing rod to then do some fishing. So one of the bonus features in today's video is that the oceans are now jam-packed with fish, and even if you hit a fish with even the likes of an iron sword, stone sword, wooden sword, you can obtain food straight away, which means obviously having a fishing rod is quite beneficial, but having food straight away is really, really useful. And as you guys can see, we got ourselves some bones. So getting some bones from fish means that you can then plant down your seeds and bone meal them, and then you wouldn't have to worry about getting food straight away. So that's also a really big bonus that a lot of people need to remember. Obviously, fishing is really good because you can get some enchanted stuff. Something else that's really important as well is you don't just have fish in the oceans, you also have this, which is kelp. Kelp is an absolutely fantastic item in the game. And if you come to the second one from the bottom, because obviously you want this to regrow, break this, it will break all of the above. And again, another bonus feature within the update Aquatic is they will all float to the top. If I die or I throw this, all the stuff will now float to the top, which means, well, it's kind of easy to get yourself the things that you want to collect. Also, the salmon are absolutely huge, by the way, guys, and they're a really good source of food. So that's kind of the first thing that I wanted to share with you. Again, it's very basic. I'm pretty sure you guys already knew about this, but again, for a brand new world, it's a really, really useful thing. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is something that I recommend doing at the beginning of any new world, because you really technically don't have to go mining straight away to find yourself some good loot. And I'm specifically talking about this. So those over there are known as ocean ruins. That's a shipwreck, that's an ocean ruin. The ocean ruin can produce things such as treasure maps, it can produce fishing rods, wheat, coal, and a couple other things. Now I'm using night vision to see. Obviously, without using night vision, your visibility is going to be quite reduced. But you don't got to worry about that. Something that's really great about this is obviously getting stacked up on fish means that, well, you have a lot of fish for yourself, but you can also use the fish on dolphins. Now, dolphins can be used for treasures. You don't have to do this, but if you feed a dolphin some raw salmon or fish or anything, they will go to the nearest treasure, whether it be an underwater ruin or whether it be the likes of a shipwreck. It's something I recommend doing from the beginning of a game, but as time goes by, you've got a boat, you can really find the underwater ruins quite easily. A really good thing about this in survival, I'm going to show you in survival about this, is that if you do find yourself the likes of this, that in some cases you will come across this. Now with magma now, they produce a bubble column. This bubble column gives you oxygen, which means that you can breathe underwater, even without having respiration or water breathing potions. So if we quickly switch our game to survival, if I show you guys, you can see I'm losing bubbles quite quickly. If I crouch and then come over to the magma, as you guys can see, it then stacks up my water breathing, so I have infinite breathing underwater. Now, obviously, in some cases when you're playing Minecraft, you'll find yourself a treasure chest. I think this one's under here because I kind of already know this one. But if we go over to here, as you guys can see, we have ourselves a treasure chest. And you can find yourself a bunch of items. You've got coal now to cook your food, which means you don't have to use your wood. I'm going to die by a trident here, of course. That's just the way this game is when I'm recording. Start, settings, creative. Okay, so as you guys can see, that's just a very, very basic example. If you do come across the magma columns, just crouch on them. You're not going to take damage from them. Obviously, if you're standing, you will take damage, but if you're crouched, you won't take damage at all. You could do a bit of digging around, and you're going to find yourself some treasure chests. If you're lucky, you will find yourself a treasure map, which will lead to some treasure, which can obtain diamonds, emeralds, TNT, prismarine shards, and much more. So that's something a lot of people really don't know. At the beginning of any new world, my recommendation is to try and find yourselves one of them. And it keeps raining in this world. Let's get rid of that. So something else I want to show you in today's video is that with the ability of swimming in Minecraft, you now have the ability of going through one small gaps. Now, if you're playing in a world, a server, anywhere at all, you now have the ability of making a one tall gap and you can keep your secret stuff inside of there. The chances of people finding this legitimately, it's basically not going to happen. And obviously you can store your goodies in there, like all of these diamonds that I collected totally in survival. But you can make yourself an underwater base, a secret chest room, whatever you wanted to do, you can do that because you can now swim in this this water like this. So yeah, that's something else I wanted to share with you. Now I want to get into some more detailed kind of things, and this is to do with the whole water mechanics and the whole system. Now these two are exactly the same, but as you guys can see, this one isn't quite fully grown the way this one is, and this is all to do with the water mechanics. It's quite tricky to understand, but once you've mastered it, you'll know exactly how it works. So I'm going to grab myself some kelp and show you this from the start. This one I'm going to break all the way down to the bottom, all the way down here, and as you guys can see, I can then place it all the way back up and nothing happens. It's a fully stacked up kelp the way that is. However, with this one, we have a slight issue. And the issue with this one is when I try and place down the kelp on this one, it just breaks instantly. And that is because the water source needs to fill every single block. You're probably quite confused on what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drain this and show you what I mean. So if we completely fully drain this, we're going to just do it this way. Let's not break this glass. We're going to go all the way down. We're going to fully drain this one. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So if we grab ourselves I think we have a bucket of water inside of here. So if we grab this bucket of water and I show you, if I put this at the top, right? As you guys can see, to me and you, that's water. It's fully filled in. However, if I place this down here, as you guys can see, I can't place it at all. However, if I then redrain this, which means every bit of water is now gone, and we start from the bottom up, it will work perfectly. So if I put this here, I can now put down the kelp inside of there. However, if I try to now put this at the top, and then put another one on top, it still does not work. It's quite a confusing thing, and it took me quite a while to fully understand the whole mechanics of this. But if I come down here and fill in every single block with the water, this means I can now fully stack this all the way up. Now, this isn't a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, and I'm going to show you at the end, because you can literally make an infinite kelp source. And let me tell you, the infinite kelp farms are really efficient. So that's something really beneficial that a lot of players don't know. That's the reason why this one worked. And it doesn't. So if I get rid of the water again, and we get rid of the water a little bit further, and I put this back in here, again, it's not going to stock all the way up. So what will happen is, when this is growing, it will break. It will break here, and it will just have a couple of pieces floating around, which is how you get yourself a farm. It's really tedious, but it's quite easy to understand. Now, obviously, something that's really important in this version as well is to do with mobs. Okay, so in here, we have ourselves, this is soul sand. Soul sand gives you the ability of bouncing up and down. This is really good for elevators. So if you're looking for an elevator system, whether it be items, etc., it's really good. So I don't know if we can do this because the water's probably going to pour out. But if I put that inside of there, it's going to shoot up. Come on, we got to get this. There we go. As you guys can see, it shoots all the way up. So that's something a lot of people can now use for elevators. It's really efficient. It's a fully working elevator in Minecraft, and you don't have to do anything at all. And this is where mobs also come into play. So for me, previously, probably for a lot of you guys as well, when it comes to mob farms, we used to use this so-called system. So the mob would go along here, it would go there, and then it would go all the way up. This is exactly the same for skeletons as well. Because of how the mechanics is in this game now, they now sink to the bottom. Now, although this can be annoying for the previous farms, it's actually more beneficial in the newer update because we can now use this, which is the soul sand, to push our mobs all the way up. The reason why this is more beneficial is because it will push mobs up a lot faster, meaning that it will produce more mobs in such a small period of time compared to the water and sign method that used to be the way to do farms. I've done XP farm tutorials on how this works, so if you guys are interested in that, you can always check that out. Now, of course, soul sand pushes mobs up, meanwhile, the magma blocks will push them down, and you can use this as a grinder system as well, if that's what you're into. So, yeah, a couple of things that many of you guys might not have known about the water system. It is quite tedious, but once you understand it, it's incredibly useful. Now, something else I want to show you in today's video is something that took me some time to figure out. You might already know this one, but I didn't. And this is to do with bone meal, grass blocks, and dirt blocks. Because in the oceans, you have the ability of bone mealing to get grass in the oceans, which is seagrass, which is this stuff right here. This stuff is used for breeding turtles, which you guys are probably already familiar with. But you can also bone meal the dirt blocks to get seagrass. It can be used for a couple other things, but it does not work on grass blocks. It must be dirt blocks. So as you guys can see, bone mealing this will produce the grass, whether it be the 1 tall or 2 tall. It will also produce coral like this, but it does not work on grass blocks. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because obviously if I started to attach these, I'm pretty sure this will start to saturate it. So if you are building any form of an aquarium and you want to have this stuff, you want to try and make sure that it's dirt. But I do believe over a period of time, if the grass is to then make its way over to the seagrass, it will change underneath and it will not break. So for example, if I try and put seagrass on top of here, it does work. Seagrass will work on here, but you just cannot bone meal it. So that's something I kind of wanted to let you guys know. Same for coral. I think you can put coral on here as well. Yeah, so you can put the corals, the grass, the kelp and stuff on grass, but you just can't bone meal for it, which is something that I actually didn't realize until not recently. So yeah, in case you guys didn't know that, that's something to take into consideration. I like to use grass instead of dirt because it's a little bit more attractive. So you might have to do it this way, or you can always silk touch these and put them on grass as well. So that's something I kind of wanted to tell you guys. So the next thing I want to show you is, of course, about sea turtle eggs. These are fantastic. However, you can actually silk touch these. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with this. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because, for example, you came to this island. I know this island does spawn turtles. However, you didn't want to live on this island. Maybe you wanted to live on an island that was a couple of 100 blocks away. You could then let the turtles breed over here. You could then silk touch these, which I'm doing in creative for some darn reason. That's a very, very big mistake. Let's switch this to survival. You can then silk touch these and take them with you. Now, I think if I silk touch these and then place them back down, it's going to reset the whole breeding system. So if I put these back down, as you guys can see, they're full eggs. They're not cracked. They're not damaged. This means that if you do silk touch them, you want to try and silk touch them straight away. You don't want to come back in a couple of days because it's going to reset the breeding process. It takes like 2 to 3 full Minecraft days for them to fully hatch. It can take longer. So if you're really wanting to get a turtle helmet and get some turtles, I recommend grabbing these with silk touch as fast as you can. Because previously when you guys seen them, they were cracked. They were slightly damaged. That's a good thing in this game. Slightly damaged stuff. So yeah, that's something I kind of wanted to share with you guys. Take that into consideration, that you can always take them with you. Of course, it requires silk touch. Now this next one goes back to what I shared with you at the start of the video. And this is all to do with kelp. Now obviously you can then grab the 64 kelp or any kelp, but you can grab this in abundance. Let me show you guys, for example, how easy it is to then... Oops, I'm in the wrong game mode again. I keep doing this. If I put myself in creative, I want to show you guys how fast you can get stacks and stacks of this stuff. Now this stuff is terrible for saturation, just so you guys are aware. Like it's a terrible food source in terms of you constantly need to eat it, which is why it's kind of good to have lots and lots of this stuff. So if we just get this, we're going to have tons and tons on the top of the ocean. As you guys can see, that is a lot of items just floating around. So with them floating around now, obviously you'd pick them up, you'd then want to smelt them down. As you guys can see, I've already got that there. Maybe you don't have any coal at all, you're using wood, you really want to use the wood for yourself. You can now turn these into a fuel source. So if I just grab myself a crafting table, it can be used as a fuel source. Now how this works is, we need to grab, I want to show you guys the crafting recipe for this, which is this one. It kind of looks like a present. So if we tap on this, it's done with 9 of these this way. It can be used as a fuel source, okay? However, I don't think we can turn this back into dried kelp. I think it stays as, yeah. Oh no, you can turn it back. That's actually pretty useful. So I forgot about that myself. So you can turn these into kelp. Obviously, the kelp blocks themselves can now be used as a fuel source. So we take out the wood, we can put this inside of here. It can be used as a fuel source. So you're using kelp, which you're going to eat, as a fuel source as well. It's another fuel source in Minecraft, something I recommend using, again, for any starter world, because that's a lot of kelp. Because kelp is really easy to get in abundance, it's a great source to eat, and it's a great source to use as fuel. And if you're more efficient, the way I'm going to show you in today's video, you can make yourself a kelp farm which at the end of the day is absolutely fantastic. So this next thing I want to show you is the difference between Java and Bedrock. It's a lot better on Bedrock. The reason why, guys, is because, well, this isn't working right now, but if zombies drop inside of here, they will now turn into drowned. Now, the good thing about this version, being the Bedrock version, is two things. One, the zombies that turn into drowned have a chance of holding tridents, nautilus shells, and fishing rods. That does not happen on the Java version of Minecraft PC. They just made it for Bedrock. This may change for the future of Bedrock because it is kind of OP to get tridents. I've made tutorial farms for this. The good thing is, though, that once these drown, because they'll start to shake very soon, their armor, their weapons, their tools, they will start to drop. Now, if this armor pops off this zombie, it will be full durability. So previously, when you killed a mob in Minecraft and it dropped the gold, the chain, the iron, etc., it'd be damaged stuff. That's not the case when this happens. Now, as you guys can see, all the armor is starting to pop off these guys. But unlike the Java version, these guys have spawned, some of these guys have spawned holding nautilus shells. Again, there's one guy right there. There's another dude right there. And in some circumstances, they actually spawn holding a trident. So that's the beneficial and something that you guys need to remember. It's really good to make farms. You can turn zombie farms into drowned farms. And if you're on Bedrock, you can turn it into trident farms / nautilus farms. So that's something that I kind of wanted to share with you in today's video. Something that I thought was really beneficial for any Minecraft player. The next one is to do with farming. I don't need to wear these pants. Let's just put these inside of here. The next one is to do with farming and the efficiency of it and how much better it can become. So I created this, and this can just be now a different way for you to create your farm instead of it looking the same as it always has for years and years in Minecraft. So if I grab myself some stairs, a hoe, and some ingredients, for example, I just did a simple design. So previously you could put the water inside of here. You put the water inside of here. You'd then hoe this. You'd then obviously create your stuff. However, you can now like create different designs based on however you want. So because there's water inside of here, it now acts as a normal farm, which means it will then go 4 blocks. It's how far I think farms can go. It will now saturate the exact same as it previously did, but it looks a lot cooler. And you can change the design up as much as you want. You could have it like this if you really wanted to. You could change this up as much as you want. The only downside is, guys, you have to fill in every single block. So previously we could fill in 4 of these. You'd have to fill in every single one by one. So if I place one here, one here, one here, and okay, we gotta get the angles right with this one. One more here. Nope, it's not that one. I think it's this one. There we go. As you guys can see, we have what we just started with. You have to fill in every single one. So a water bucket on this one, this one, this one, and this one. And it's now acting as a normal farm, which means you can now put your food down and it's going to work exactly the same. It just makes your designing a little bit better. So if you care a lot about how you design your farms, this is going to be something that you guys can try, and it will work. It won't desaturate. It will work exactly the same. I've done this in a couple of my worlds, and I wanted to share with you. You can also switch up the design as well. You can have it like this if you really wanted to, which is just slabs. As long as it's filled in, you can then do this. Because water now fills in absolutely everything. If you really wanted to, you could have it as fences. You can change, customize, and decide whatever you want to do. But as you guys can see, the water is saturating, and you now have yourself a farm. This one I kind of like. I like this one a lot because you don't sink in the water and have to jump out. You can just walk across like normal. So yeah, fooding, I'm going to call it. Food farms, now a lot more beneficial. And this one goes back to what I've kind of showed you throughout today's video. Kelp farms, that over there, and the whole food system itself. This is a automatic kelp farm. Let me show you exactly how this works. This works better on a bigger scale, and I've done this in my own world as well. So how this will work is if you place down gravel and put the kelp on top of there, that's how it works. The reason why, guys, is because if you're doing this on grass again, you can't put kelp down on grass. The reason why I'm using gravel, because you can put it on gravel as well, because the oceans are filled with gravel. So if we do this like this, I'm going to put that there, this here. I'm just going to simply design this as an ordinary kelp farm. We're going to have to just quickly come this a little bit further this way like this. Okay, so we have ourselves an easy farm here. So what we'll do is we'll place this here. I can't put the kelp inside of there. So what I'll do is I'll place down another water source and I'll put this inside of here. Because there's water above it, it will then try to grow with exactly like I showed you earlier on, this stupid rain. It will try and grow. So as you guys can see, because this grows to the non-water source, it will then break and go all the way up there. It's exactly the same with this. Exactly the same with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in one of my ordinary worlds how this can work on a large scale. So this is my farm that I built in survival. It took us a little bit of time to build this, but as you guys can see, it produces kelp literally every single second. There is that much kelp that we've got that every single chest is full, and we're using this as a fuel source as well, and it just gets full and full and full and full. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys. You can use the so-called bad water source as an efficient water source for a kelp farm. So hopefully you guys have learned some new things today. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. If you'd like a part 2, let me know in the comment section. Have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.